Good afternoon, everyone, and once more, welcome from my end. We are going to continue the discussion. For those who were here in the previous session, it's all about capacity building in the just energy transition sector. The session is entitled Empowering Change, Building Capacity for Just Energy Transition. And my name is Emmanuel Chio, and I work with the United Nations University, Vice Rectorate in Europe, under the division called PACEP, which stands for Pan-African Cooperation and Education Technology. As already mentioned, this session is focused on just energy transition, and it's organized by 3 organizations, the United Nations University, which consists of UNU-VIE and UNU-Flores, and also Fundación Avina. So the session is going to focus on capacity building in strengthening institutional capacity for just energy transition, as I already mentioned, but also including post-mining, land restoration, and gender mainstreaming. So maybe moving to the next slide, just to give a rundown of the agenda today. So we are going to start with an opening remark from Professor Ida Gunther from the UNU-Flores. She's the director of UNU-Flores. And after that, I'm going to give you a brief presentation on what we are going to experience in the hall, because we have 4 organizations that will be presenting different approaches on how we can conduct institutional capacity building based on their experience from Latin America and in Africa. And as you can see, it's going to be in a World Cafe format, so please feel free to visit each of the table. We initially wanted the participants to visit all the table, but because of time constraint, we restructure it so that each of the table will have enough time to explain their methodology, their concept of how they went about doing institutional capacity building. So the new structure is that after 35 minutes, we will request you to move to the next table, and the next table will also be for 35 minutes. Then we will come to the end of the session with a closing remark from Federico Brunet from IDRC, International Development Research Center of Canada. So that is a rundown of how the session is structured. So without much ado, I'm going to invite Professor Edel to give the opening remark. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And how are you? Wonderful. So I will also speak about empowerment. So I also need an audience that is empowered. Wonderful. Good to have you here. Great. So I brought you 5 messages, and we will stay with the slide for most of my opening remarks. I hope it is on. Yes, it is. So 5 messages I would like to bring to you when we talk about just transition, when we talk about involving marginalized groups, women. The first one is from extraction to empowerment. Very often when we speak about just transition, we speak about technologies, about changes in technology. We phase out an old technology, we phase in a new technology. But what we often forget is the social element. And that's my first message. We must come from extraction to empowerment and really looking at people who are living in the regions. Of course, they earned their money from mining, for example, but they are people. And that's the first message, that we really also need to involve them in decision-making, women and marginalized groups, that they also decide what shall happen with the land and how they envision their future and how they want to earn money also for their daily living. That is my first message, from extraction to empowerment. Second message is about something that I think touches the emotions, is land as a classroom. And we have mining area close to our institute. That's in Germany, in Lusatia. It's close to Czech Republic. It's close to Poland. And there we are using land as a classroom. And if you teach people, then they listen and say, oh yeah, that might be something challenging. But if they are there, if they can touch the soil, if they can feel the size, the mere size of mining, then their brains start working. And that's what I always feel very empowering also to see, that we can use those post-mining areas as a classroom. And also speak to the emotions of people and invite them. And there is one method that I would like you to encourage to use. This is citizen science. Really talk to people, also to collect data. And with this you can generate new knowledge. That's my second message. My third message is we have to build institutions that are inclusive. And how can this go? This can go that we start a train-the-trainer model, that we train specialists and then they train like a teacher, then they go to the schools, and then the students go home and teach their parents or their grandparents, and then they go to their workplace, and then they teach their co-workers and so on. So that we really also use this option for transition as a way of changing our institutions and changing how we work. And the key word here would be the trainer model. And when I speak about that, this is all based on research that we have been conducting. Our lead at our institute is Alexei Alexenko, who is a mining professor by background and also a soil researcher, so therefore he also makes people touch the soil, and that's something I really like, also that they can learn about what's happening there. And then I have two more. And this fourth one is about the nexus, the interconnectivity on different levels. The interconnectivity of resources. That means very often when we speak about energy transition, we speak about energy. And maybe we speak about mining. But there is way more to it. It's related to soil, it's related to groundwater, it's related to material that we get from the mines. It's of course related to climate. It's related to biota. You can use the land for reforestation, for example. Or also the lakes you can use also for fishery, for example. It's related to space in terms of square meters, those huge areas of land. And all this goes together. So when we speak about the resource nexus, we speak about the interconnectivity of resources. And when you then have the fishbowl discussions, also would like to encourage you also always to see the synergies and the trade-offs between the different resources. But when we speak about the nexus, it goes beyond. It also means the nexus of the different governance systems, that we have the local level, we have the regional level, we have the global level. That's why we are here at COP, that we also see the interconnectivity here, that we see the nexus between different generations. And that's not so easy always. I'm a mother of 2 children. It's sometimes challenging. I don't know whether for me or for them, at least it's challenging sometimes. And so, yeah, and that we are aware of that between men and women, between the whole diverse universe of cultures. So that's my fourth message. Let's have a nexus approach. And finally, I touched already when I spoke about the nexus on culture. Let's focus on local wisdom. There are so many studies about traditional knowledge, and very often we come, and this also relates to my first message about the technological element. We come with a technology and we just impose it on people. It's not context specific. And really also taking the knowledge of the people and this local wisdom is the fifth message. And that also means that we can then motivate them, that speaks to their emotions. They are part of the whole transition. So, from extraction to empowerment is the first message. We have to rethink transitions. The land as a classroom, think about that. I think you can all implement this. Building institutions that include, that was this trainers, training the trainers model, the resource nexus, and finally scaling local wisdom, being aware that the elder generation, but also the young generation has knowledge that we can build on. And finally, I would like just to walk you through, in case you are interested in our research, a few slides where you can see what we have been doing in a specific project, where we looked at the role of women. Only 8 to 17% of women in that area, of workers in that area were women. And they also felt not an equal treatment. I found that also quite interesting, so that they just felt also marginalized. As a second message from here, we have few data. That is also something, I think, also for future research that is interesting. We always think, oh, gender research has been around now for a while, but there is not so much research. And that was also the idea of this, of going into this work and also involving women. And therefore we created a platform, and this is now the last slide, if you wish. You can also access this and also contribute with new knowledge. So this is this knowledge of the crowd approach and also contribute to generating more data, more knowledge. And with this, I would like to hand you over to Emmanuel, and he will lead us into the fishbowl discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ida, for that very inspiring talk. I was very happy when you mentioned trainer-of-trainer methodology, because some of the initiatives here benefited from a trainer-of-trainer capacity build program that we implemented in the frame of in the design of this session. So without much talking, let's go now to actual capacity building, because that's why we are here. So we see the tables are already set, and I think if you can just go to the I think there's the 7th slide. Just continue. Yes, continue. Yeah, this is more or less presenting what is expected for this World Cafe format of discussion. So as I earlier mentioned, we will have just 2 rounds of visiting each table, and each will last for 30 minutes, and then I will announce when you have to change to move to the next table. So it's more explore the capacity building initiative of the different tables, and then also learn how to each build skills within the local and national context. And then you are also free to share your insight. The next slide, please. So these are the 4 tables that we have in the hall or in the room. The first table led by Carol. She will be presenting an approach on training that promotes women participants in renewables through entrepreneurship in Cameroon rural areas. The next table that is led by Mario. He is in capacity building programs in the scope of a national mitigation plan. And the third table led by Giselle. She's looking at capacity building which focus on indigenous women in Ecuador. And last but not the least, the 4th table with Muyewa, and he's looking at institutional innovation ecosystem for a just and secular energy transition. So please feel free to choose any of the table and engage them to understand their methodology as well as their approach in capacity building. So you're free to stand up and move to any of the tables. And I will come back here, when it's 30 minutes, I will come back here and ask you to change the table. So thank you very much. No? Okay, I've been requested if it's possible that we take a group picture now. Before, yeah, let's have a group picture now so that once we start our discussion, we will not be interrupted. Just to let you know that you have 5 more minutes and then you will switch your tables. So please, we can now switch the tables. Please, it's time to change the tables. Feel free to move to another table. Can I have your attention? So we have come to the end of the World Cafe discussion. I hope it was very interesting, and I hope you had a lot of fun. Please feel free to meet the different groups or the different organizations. If you need further information about their training, I think they also have their cards that they can share with you. This is not the end of this discussion, it's just the beginning. So feel free also to reach out to us if you need further information on how we can support you in understanding the different methodology or approaches when it comes to institutional capacity building. Having said that, it brings us to the last segment of our event. And with this, I would like to invite Federico from IDIC to give us a closing remark.
Thank you, sir. And thank you, everyone. Frankly, I enjoy a lot being there, learning from at least a couple of experiences. This morning, I was able to connect with the other teams, the other experiences. So thank you very much. I insist to both UNU and Avina. On behalf of the organization that I represent, IDRC from Canada, it has been a pleasure, but more than a pleasure, a confirmation of the kind of work that is being done, because as I mentioned, for those that were attending this morning our conversation, we are just approving a continuation of Impulse South, the project that is convening us and is permitting us to advance on this issue of understanding what type of capacity building with what kind of actors should we put in place if we are serious about the issue of energy transition. Energy transition, as we all probably agree, is not about technologies in isolation. And your colleague from the UNU, at the launch of this initiative, was very clear indicating about the 5 key issues that UNU is taking into account, which are at the core of what we are hearing here with the different experiences. Energy transition is about equity and inclusion, and all our projects are really demonstrating with, frankly, in the couple of experiences that I listened today, I discovered completely different approaches, but with a very significant common value, which is transforming, creating better conditions in different contexts, under different regimes, working at the different level from communities to contributing to the plans of central governments, with this idea of amplifying the dimension and the perception and the openness to really move towards more inclusive opportunities, and I will say economies, while we're transiting in the transformation of energy. I think it's more also about, it's also about, policy and governance. Whatever we do, at whatever level we are intervening, what we are doing is to creating capacities in individuals that probably will converge into transforming our institutions, and then will require more attention from the point of view of the policies that must permit this initiative to continue pursuing, reaching sustainability, and continue the journey of transforming the way energy is permitting us to modify our social and economic matrix in each of the countries. So there is an economic transformation in place. Everything we do, from what I heard today, is also, frankly, paying particular attention not just to deliver capacity building, but to learn from what we are doing and create a sense of education for trainees and trainers, which is permitting all of us to continue perhaps scaling up domestically in each of the places where we work, but more importantly, and this is at the core of what we are launching, or we are expecting to continue supporting now, will permit us to gather the synthesis of this work, and with the synthesis contribute with many other players in this sector that are eager to really move forward and faster as it could be possible, transforming, transitioning in terms of modificating the way we conceive energy, the way we use energy, the way we produce energy, and how we are linking the needs of the most vulnerable people in that sense. So I think, we reach our objective today. I certainly would like to congratulate you for the session and for the kind of experiences, and I wish you the best implementing the new phase we are starting to work with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Federico, for those inspiring words. I think you nicely summarize what we have experienced here today. So as I earlier mentioned, this is just the beginning, so please feel free to reach out to us, and we can share the different experiences. Maybe in the beginning of the session, we talked about, or not in the beginning of the session, in another sessions that we talked about the Impulse Out project that we were working in 9 different countries. So within these 9 countries, we have different organizations that develop different capacity building initiatives. So there is a lot of experiences to share. Today we had just 4, so you can imagine. So feel free to reach out and we will happily share this experience with you. Having said that, I want to thank all those who are here hosting tables. Mr. Muyewa needs to catch a flight in a few minutes, so I will not keep you here. I will allow you to go. But thank you all for the time. I think it was a time well spent, and looking forward. And also use this opportunity to thank the PCCB for providing this space for us to organize our event. So enjoy the rest of your COP, and I wish you a nice day. Bye.